Hey, Jake, I think the 49ers just realized that they have a game in like just a little more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, it turns
That's
out you need players.
what a concept. You know how you got rid of your entire middle class of players, kind of those sage veterans that don't make a tremendous amount of money, but help build a competent roster. And then the Niners were like, get this. We're just not going to have them anymore. Now they're like, what if we had them and gave up future draft picks, albeit marginal, menial draft picks, for those guys? They're panic buying, my friend. They know that this team ain't ready. They're going out there and trying to shore up all the holes in the hull before this thing has to get going. And not a good look for the front office, at least in one man's opinion.
It's not a good look, especially given that you traded away Debo. You traded away Jordan Mason. Mason, I think, looks funnier than Debo because Debo made plenty of sense. But
the Mason one is like great. You got Brian Robinson, a worse version of Jordan Mason for marginally less. I mean, maybe not marginally. Like, I don't know how much Washington's holding on to in the contract, but Washington, let's just run quickly through this. Washington was so desirous to get rid of Brian Robinson, who is fine. He's fine.
Yeah, he's totally fine. He's physical. He's fine.
I don't know if there's a more we've talked before about D-Rob being the most average wide receiver. Like, Brian Robinson might be the most average running back. He gets 4 yards a carry because that is what is blocked for him. And maybe he gets more, maybe he gets less here. I don't know. But this dude, here's a quick number. He has had more rushing yards than expected. NFL Next Gen Stats, rushing yards over expectation, which is basically what's blocked for you versus what you get. He has had a plus number in that in all 3 years of his NFL career. His grand total of yards over expectation, 76.
Awesome.
For reference, Christian McCaffrey had 349 yards over expectation in 2023 alone. So he's fine. There's nothing wrong with Brian Robinson. There's nothing particularly great about Brian Robinson. Jordan Mason was giving you like 2 yards extra per clip last year on an offensive line that really couldn't block for him. And he got $7.3 million paid out over 3 years by the Minnesota Vikings, who are not technically starting him. So he's not getting any sort of a better role, maybe slightly better.
He's kind of getting a better role. You know, it seems like him and Jones are he might get the goal line. And
yeah, I was wrong in saying that it's not a better role, but it's not like a clear-cut A1 role, right? They're still saying that Jones is A1 and he's 1B, which it's like, do we understand how letters work? That's the second letter, so the one seems superfluous because you've now created separation. That's neither here nor there. Jordan Mason was a hell of a back. And the Niners are like, we couldn't possibly pay him. But we could pay Brian Robinson 75% of what he's owed on $3.8 million per year in the final year of his contract and give up a fifth-round draft pick, which is a cost in and of itself.
It's a six-rounder.
It's a sixth now? Okay.
I saw a sixth. Someone's saying that the Niners aren't paying all the salary.
No, both of those things are, I presume, are true. Like, Washington's definitely holding on to salary. But, again, they have no proven in-house replacement unless you're all in on Ja'Cory Crosby, Bill Merritt. Like, unless you're all in on him, they don't have an in-house replacement. And they traded him in conference to a theoretical playoff team.
Right.
They're like, you have to leave. We can't do this anymore.
So I actually don't mind the Brian Robinson move. I think it's funny in theory. They did use the sixth from the Mason deal, so it's sort of like, but they got another. I think they got like a fourth or something for Mason too. They got 2 picks.
Okay,
and or maybe I'm wrong, but they used one of the picks. Oh, and they slid up. They got like a pick, and they slid up like 27 picks to get Marquise Siegel.
Well, that worked out.
So that has worked out. It's funny in that they're clearly like a bit desperate that they're just like, oh, we just don't have players. We'll take anyone who's like an NFL player. Now, Sky Moore's not an NFL player. He's not really a player at all.
But neither is Junior Bergen.
Do you think Sky Moore, do we know what number he's going to be?
Well, he was wearing 6 yesterday, which is not going to last.
It's certainly better than what it was, which was what, 22 or 24?
24.
That's
And
people are talking about the receiver Golden for the
yeah,
Packers, and
what's
he's
he wearing?
low 20s. And I'm like, clearly that's not going to work.
No, you're not Charles Woodson. Stop this. Stop this nonsense right now. Even Travis Hunter, who does play both ways, isn't trying that nonsense. So, I'll say this: Sky Moore is not. He's not very good, despite what some folks on the internet might want to tell you. Like, I watched him. Watched all those snaps. Very easy to get these days.
No, he's a terrible player.
He's not good. And I bet Patrick Mahomes packed his bag for him. Like, please, I'll pay the rest of his salary. Just make him leave. Because the number of balls that hit Sky Moore in both of his hands that were then dropped. I mean, I was like,
are you arguing that receiving, that actually being able to catch the ball is a crucial component of being a successful wide receiver?
Here's the thing. Ronnie Bell could at least separate a little bit, you know? And like, we all ran. And I'm not saying we were wrong, but we all ran Ronnie Bell straight up out of town because he had nubs for hands. It was some sort of work study program where if it's like you lost your hands in a firework accident, you could play wide receiver for the 49ers. And now they're like, what if we got Sky Moore, who is slower, cannot separate, and
He's
has
pretty
terrible
fast. Isn't Sky Moore, wasn't that his whole thing?
It's theoretical speed. It just doesn't manifest. The only time that he ever made plays, the only time that he ever seemed to be open, and apologies if you hear a leaf blower, because I can pick the times. That's Sky Moore's game film just blowing. The only time that he ever seemed to be open was when Mahomes made a play like 20 seconds long.
Right.
And I think that the other team forgot, one, what jersey color they were wearing, and two, that 24 is a receiver and not a cornerback. And they're like, oh, we should just leave that guy. And then he was wide open. And then half the time he didn't catch it.
Man, I was okay with expanding the numbers a little bit, but 20s, no receiver should be wearing 20. And at least Golden, it's like a tribute to his grandmother, but like, find another way. That's
true. He might just want to be swagging. His grandmother's like alive and well and living in Texas. And it's like, well, you said what? I ain't dead, boy. And I have a whole image of Golden's grandmother here that I'm actually really excited to explore later in some sort of bizarre fanfic. Regardless, it's not the players themselves. B-Rob is fine. He's a good enough player. He's clearly your second best running back. That speaks volumes, though, because as DA points out, just how bad did Garendo look yesterday? I heard he fumbled on 3 consecutive carries. Buddy, you heard that from me because he did.
Did he really?
He fumbled on 3 consecutive carries, and they were just running basic stuff. They were just going through the motions, and he was like, what if I threw this football to the ground as hard as I could? That's what it looked like. It was brutal. It was brutal to watch, and it's like it wasn't exactly glowing before that. And I haven't been there every day. I have to put that caveat on there. I'm not going to pretend as if I've seen every rep. The dude's still fast as fuck, but they don't trust him as a running back. So what did they do? They went and got a running back that is inherently trustworthy.
It's also like, even if Garendo, they have a little bit of trust, he gets hurt so damn often. Like they just,
yeah.
And given the amount of injuries they have, there's like, we need bodies. And Brian Robinson is physical as hell, has played running back at an NFL level, and has been fine.
He's fine. It is interesting that Washington was so eager to give him away. Interesting.
Why get Sky Moore? Of all people, like there was no one else. You couldn't have waited till roster cuts, and because the Niners have a decent waiver claim spot.
They should have 11th.
Right.
They should have 11th.
Like Sky Moore's not adding anything.
Well,
I don't actually.
I think it's pretty simple. I don't think that they're in any way precluded from adding more wide receivers. I think it's pretty strictly that they don't think that Junior Bergen can do anything for them from scrimmage whatsoever, and therefore, and doesn't look very good as a kick returner, it should be noted. Fine as a punt returner, doesn't look good as a kick returner. And so in that, it's like, okay, what are we doing here? We can practice squad this kid. No one's going to pick up the 7th round pick, right, who everyone's like, wait a minute, who? Like, wasn't in draft guides, certainly ours. Like, who can we get who can return us kicks today? Sky Moore's available. He costs nothing. You can maybe put him out in a route, which you just can't do with Bergen. Let's go to town.
I get that. I get
I think
that.
that's where it was.
Yeah.
But like just it's just raising the floor just a smidge because they realize that they have a roster full of dudes who just like can't play right now and might never be able to play. The Garendo thing is so damning. It's so they have no faith in him. We have no idea if Jordan James is any good because he hasn't practiced, and like he's a rookie. But the idea that like they're just like we're not going to live and
Yeah, and
die
it's tough
by
because I thought
Guerrero.
Garendo was figuring it out in the second
Same.
half of the. He had a couple moments and down the stretch that I was pretty impressed.
It could have been something, and they might use him
Well,
as a strict
he
gadget player.
might still be. It's just again, it's not a guy who's played a lot, who gets hurt a lot, and it's like tough to figure it out. Like his football instincts were not ideal, and he needed time to learn. And missing that first training camp, I'm not shutting the door on him at all, but I completely get it. Like you can't trust him as your number 2 right now.
He's gonna be on the team. Like they're not cutting him.
I think he's going to have a role. I think I think there's going to be games where he's involved quite a bit.
Do you want to know what his role is going to be, Jake? It's an easy role to remember because we just saw it last year. Late stage Debo Samuel. Like legitimately.
I don't know about that. Why is it late stage?
What did Debo do at the end of last year? Second half of last year when they're like, oh boy, like this ain't going to work anymore. They used him as like a running back every now and again, as like a gadget trick play slot receiver every now and again, and as a kick returner. Guerendo's just late stage Samuel or late stage Debo with like maybe a bit more juice.
Yeah.
By the way, Debo had fumbles.
Yeah. Speaking of Debo, I'm interested to see how he does with Washington. He looked decent preseason, but we'll see. We'll see.
I don't like anything they're doing. If anyone wants to, Washington's under is my number one future.
You don't like our boy Bill Krosky Merritt?
I like Bill Krosky Merritt. I think Bill Krosky Merritt's a good running back. I'm not sure I'd like to bet the house on the 7th round draft pick to come through for you. And like, again, good running back draft. So like a 7th round pick is maybe like a round 4. Like there's the thing.
By the way, have you looked at the Bears running back room? My friend was like talking up Kyle Monangai, who I was like, oh, he's like kind of a physical little dude from Rutgers. And I looked at the room. I'm like, is Kyle Monangai like the Bears lead back? Like,
I think it'll be Swift for the first 2 weeks as the theoretical Gibbs, which that is night and day. And then I think Roshan Johnson's going to end up being their David Montgomery type.
Roshkin?
Not
Roshkin.
RJ will be that guy. I think actually Roshan Johnson, I hope I'm getting that name right. I had 2 beers for lunch. They were good too. I think he's actually a pretty good fantasy play. Let's go through some wide receiver names. I just want to hear your thoughts on these guys because again, I think
let's name some guys.
Well, that's if nothing else, that is content in the year 2025. Kendrick Bourne is the easy one. He's not healthy right now, it should be noted.
He hasn't really been healthy for the last 2-3 years.
That's right. That is absolutely right. But Kendrick Bourne has all the things that Kyle Shanahan is looking for. Has played for the San Francisco 49ers.
Is alive?
Theoretically. Can play football, has played for Kyle Shanahan.
Can play football is not confirmed yet.
That's right.
Because we don't know if he's healthy.
But when that second one comes in, Kyle Shanahan's like, how would you like a 6th round compensatory pick? Because we had some guy in the video room who just happens to be 1/8 black and got hired away by the Jaguars. How about a compensatory pick for you? Kendrick Bourne, I wouldn't mind.
Oh yeah, I'm all for it. I thought last year they might do it.
Yeah.
Especially after Ayuk went down and they didn't. But if they think he's like remotely healthy, we'll see. Gabe Davis doesn't seem like it's happening. Did he sign anywhere? He seems like his body is crumbled.
He's been to like 8 different places. 8 different places have looked at him and said, "Yeah, we're good."
Yikes. He's also probably asking for like $5 million a year or something. And once it gets into week 5,
maybe. But I'll say this: the flip side is the Niners don't need somebody for the Sky Moore thing is beautiful in a way. And this is why they're at Sky Moore, because they also can't go out and get anyone who's really good who would stay on the roster all year, because there's a legitimate chance that they're going to have to cut somebody.
The other component of this is that, so 1, DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah.
2, Juwan Jennings, as long as they don't really have an option, he's got leverage. He's got leverage for about 3 weeks.
Correct.
you know?
And I think he's going to use every bit of that leverage. I don't think he shows up for a while. But I think I think he continues to milk it. And I'm not saying that the calf injury isn't legitimate, but I'm saying is he ain't rushing out there to test it.
Right.
And nor should he, because this is his career on the line. And the 49ers made it very clear in April that they aren't going to re-sign him. And it's on, if he wants to get the big time money, he's going to have to do it somewhere else. Now, it is in his best interest to play well this season with other good players around so that people know, like, hey, it wasn't just a one-hit wonder in a shitty year.
It's a situation where he's got a really tight window to maximize this thing. Totally. Where and week one, you're not out there, the offense is going to look rough, right? The offense is going to look rough without
you. And I think you're right, but what if it doesn't? What if Sky Moore is like, hey, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid couldn't do it, but Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy unlocked them?
But if he tries to do it again the next week, I don't think it works, because then they're like, well, what's one more week until DeMarcus Robinson gets here, and then we're just running 2 wide receivers, and if Juwan doesn't play, we'll get somebody else and we'll suck, but it'll be okay.
Here's the real issue for him. He needs to get back into the fold as soon as possible, because otherwise he's back at third down. He's back in third and Juwan.
Yep.
And his entire argument here with the 49ers and with whomever he's going to be looking for a contract from next is, well, I'm actually a number one. Like, I'm
Which
the man.
He's not.
Which he's not. We know that. But like, he needs to.
He's like the greatest number 3 or like a solid number 2.
Right. But he'll be a solid number 2, greatest number 3 on this team with Pearsall. Right.
Correct.
And only more and more people are going to get involved as this thing goes along. So like, he's incentivized on one end to be here as soon as possible to show that he's the man. And on the second hand, he can't get out there fast. He can't go out there very fast, because if that calf goes, it all goes for him. Right. And so he's in a tough spot. And I keep coming back to this, and we'll leave it at this, unless you want to bandy about it, because you are entitled to speak. I know it doesn't sometimes feel like that, but you are. If they wanted the extension, I have no indication that Drew Rosenhaus and Juwan Jennings were banging on the door on, whenever everyone was getting extended in April and March, saying, hey, we need our extension now. Like, this would have been the time to deal with it, because right now this thing seems like it would be in everyone's best interest to trade him. I mean, obviously not now that we've seen all the injuries, but like, he wants to be the number one. Pearsall has now made himself the stand-in number 1. D-Rob was always going to be the number 2.
Right.
So Pearsall is either the 1 or the 3, which is fine because of the way that he plays. He's the 3 when Ayuk comes back, if Ayuk looks like Ayuk. And he's the 1 until that happens. And D-Rob is always there at the Z. And Jennings's role is very nebulous these days. So like, I would have said, hey, I need an extension after the year I just had. And the Niners say no. And then he does what he said right before camp started, which is like, oh, I'd like a trade then. And then they would have been like, you know what? You're right. We don't want this to be a thing. And we would sure like to have you, and we'd like to see this through. But there's no way that this doesn't end up toxic in some way. And you're a pretty loud dude in the locker room.
It reminds me a little bit of like Raheem Mostert. When Mostert played well that one season, the 49ers had him on like a special teams deal, which paid him very well as a special teamer.
It's a Saran deal.
Right, but garbage as a running back, and he was like, whoa, and they gave him like a little bit.
Right.
And it was over. $7.5 million. If I'm the Niners, I'm going, that's the right price for us, for Juwan Jennings.
He just got the contract. I mean, I remember when he ran on the field the day he signed it. He was the happiest man on the planet. That was a year ago.
I think from their perspective, you've lost, quote unquote, lost a lot of these, and you're trying to get back to just rewarding the top guys. You say, nope, like we're not doing this.
And I think
like you can come back or not, but we're not budging.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a good point from V Blank in the chat. I mean, all of his contract does have a lot of bonuses in it, and he's not going to get them unless he plays. Then again, he also has to think about his long term. And again, Kyle even alluded to it, which is what I've been saying here. The Achilles threat is so real and so front of mind for anyone who watches the NBA, as Juwan Jennings does, like he's a big NBA fan. But even if you're a casual NBA fan, you know about the Achilles injuries that just, hey, my calf was tight. Pop, there it goes.
Yep.
And Juwan Jennings, I'll say this again, does not have the kind of foot speed. Like, he doesn't have a step to give, right? Some guys can be like, Tyreek Hill is so fast that now he's slowing down. He's still fast. Like, he's
Right.
not good, but he's still fast. Juwan Jennings has been getting by on like guts and glory this entire time. What happens when he doesn't move like he used to, which was barely good enough to begin with?
Yeah, it's also interesting. There's a $5.6 million option bonus due in 1 week.
Now we go. Now we're
due on
talking.
September 1st. So
Now we're
very
talking.
curious. Very, very curious how that gets navigated.
Do you think they could trade him? Do you think that they just move on?
I don't think that they do, but I think it's interesting because if Devon Vele is going for like a fourth, you would get a fourth for Juwan Jennings.
I think
I feel very.
I think you can get like I think you could with the proper like you're sending a fifth the other way. I think you can get a day 2 pick.
Yeah. I think you can get a 3 for him for sure.
I think you can get a 3 if you give up like a 5
or a 6
or a 6. Yeah. I mean, that'd be a huge win.
I think, get a 3.
I prefer to have Juwan Jennings, but like if this thing is untenable, which it's hard to read.
The problem though is that then you need another wide receiver. So
well, let me throw some more names at you. Sorry,
this is like me in fantasy right now.
Yeah,
where I'm
have
trying
you come
to
to a fucking conclusion yet?
Yeah, I traded Gibbs, and now I'm trying to leverage up to jump. Now I have 2 first rounders. I'm trying to jump into the top 5.
Thank God. I'm gonna create a segue for Jake's fantasy corner.
I feel like when teams are like, what the hell was that trade? And then it's part of a bigger trade where the first trade isn't actually that good.
There's a little something called the draft, Jake. Have you heard of it? Kendrick Bourne is the number 1 name. Everyone's going to go to it. No one's wrong in saying it. I'm not sure if these 2 rooms are actually putting up any players for sale. So just tell me if you think I'm off base.
Yep.
Tampa Bay has a bit of an issue because McMillan is out. So I'm not sure if either Raheem
he might be done for the year.
Right. I'm not sure if either Raheem Jarrett or Trey Palmer are going to be available. Yeah, I like both of those guys. I like Raheem Jarrett a lot as a potential player. Any thoughts on either of those dudes?
Yeah, I just don't think they're gonna trade anybody.
Right.
Like I think Godwin's not healthy. They've got Egbuka and they've got Mike Evans, which is awesome. But I don't
so good. We knew that already.
Wasn't my prediction, my hot take, that he would be the best wide receiver in this class?
Without question.
I think
I agree with you.
Which wasn't like a hot take because he's just the most
it was so hot that I immediately agreed with you.
Right.
I'm like, wow, that take is skull. It was like fajitas. Everyone wants some of that hot take.
Right.
Sizzle.
I don't mind either of those names. I'm not sure they move the needle that much, and I'm not sure that Tampa Bay's moving anybody.
I think that's fair. We all know that the Green Bay wide receiver room is loaded. Okay. And I have a very difficult time imagining them moving one of their homegrown players to the San Francisco 49ers because of what we'll just call the Moody paradox, which is, we drafted him.
Right.
He is from our soil, even though you drafted him from somewhere else. He never grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And in that, we don't want him to fully actualize somewhere else because then we'll look like assholes. But McCole Hardman had nothing to do with the Green Bay Packers up until March.
Yeah, that's who I'm looking at.
Yeah. I don't mind it.
He's not very. I mean,
he's kicked their ass enough times.
That is exactly where I'm going.
This is the Jermaine Dye principle. If you can't beat them, force them to join you.
Galaxy brain. Yeah. You get him because you know for a fact he will be cut in the second half of the year, and the Kansas City Chiefs will pick him up in the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
Correct.
And you just say, all right, come on in.
We'll
run
play our
around.
role in this grand narrative.
We're gonna
that
run
is
you
the
into
under-
the ground. We're gonna do some Debo stuff for you.
Yeah,
We're gonna do
that's the thing.
some
He
touch
can be your
passes.
Debo guy. He can run
I
some of
don't
that
hate
Debo
it.
stuff.
I don't hate
Pearsall's
it.
going to run most of it, to be fair. Like I don't think that people are quite ready. We're seeing
But
all these deep digs.
But it would be nice to like take a little bit of the burden off, because there's times where I've literally seen Pearsall have to motion across the entire formation,
Yeah.
then run a dig, but like you're basically running 90-degree turn upfield, then 90-degree turn, where you're just running almost a square.
Can't live like this.
It's
He's
insane.
got
That's
old
a
legs.
lot of
He's
work.
like 28 years old.
I know.
Can
I
I give you
don't
one more
mind
name?
that. Yeah, I would love it.
This is self-service. Pause. Javon Baker, New England.
Ooh, yeah.
It has been a total bust. There are some videos. Don't look them up. I thought Javon Baker had the wiggle, had the bend, had a lot of qualities.
Hey, no. He has those qualities. The problem seems to be stuff that,
the whole playing the position of wide
correct.
receiver.
The whole nuance of being a professional.
Yeah. Like, hey, this is a 10-yard route. And he's like, okay, so I'm only going to go 3. Sounds good. It is maybe Kyle can get it figured out, man. It's not like we're talking about the Packers or getting Sky Moore from the Chiefs, where it's like, man, he didn't figure that shit out. Like in Kansas City, where they make anybody look good, and they get the worst of the worst, and they somehow turn them into Super Bowl winners. Like, and he's a Super Bowl winner, but like he can't. They're willing to move on from him. But when you're talking about the Patriots, like last year was a mess. The year before that was like he didn't get good coaching in year 1. And I'm not saying that Leonard Hankerson and Kyle Shanahan would get him on the level, but like for nothing, I don't know. Maybe it's worth a shot.
Yeah, one other name I would throw out there. I won't pretend like I know exactly what the Bears depth chart is looking like, and they probably can't afford to get rid of any of it. But like Zaccheaus?
Oh, they're never going to get rid of Zaccheaus. I mean, Zaccheaus might be the key to this whole thing, and I'm not being sarcastic. He's so good.
And he makes like 1.4 million. And he's just
like the most, he might be the most underrated receiver in football.
He's very underrated.
Every year around week 13, you're like, oh, I just picked up Amadeus Zaccheaus in fantasy.
Alameda, yeah.
Is that what his first name is, or did I just totally
No, you almost got it. You just forgot an L. That was pretty close for you. Yeah, but they have like, they got DJ Moore, Rome, and then they picked up Burden. So it's like...
Burden's going to take a while, though. Like, Zaccheaus is going to hold down that until Burden forces his hand. And, like, Burden might just be next year play for them because he's got all the talent, but he also kind of has some issues with the whole running offense thing. So, and it was nice in Missouri when they're like, you are the offense. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Your NIL says that you don't have to run the play that we called. And that's the other thing, too. Like, it's pretty slim pickings. And I think I'd rather just have Jordan Watkins. Not that he's better than all of these guys, but, like, at least he's around.
What about Van Jefferson from the Titans?
I like Van Jefferson. I believe he's their starting Z.
There's Tyler Lockett. There's Treylon Burks. Fuck. Damn.
Did they not cut him?
And they have Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett.
Yep.
And then... Yeah. And then I think it's Van Jefferson.
I don't think they're in a position.
They're not in any position at all. They're not in any position.
The worst kept secret, Lee Ving coming through, and a couple other folks have come through. Apologies about Adam Thielen. The worst kept secret in football right now is that Adam Thielen's going to be a Viking again. So I wouldn't operate on the premise that Adam Thielen's coming anytime soon. And it also, again, puts you in a tricky position because if you're going to go out and trade for somebody, they either have to be a certain role player on this team for the rest. Like, they have to take someone's job. They have to be at, like, basically the DeMarcus Robinson level of receiver today, or they have to be a total throw it on the wall and see if it sticks play. Luckily, the latter, you could do that with a bunch of guys, right? Because those are the guys who are truly available. But if you wanted to put together any of your chips and push them into the middle and say, hey, we need to go get a receiver, they have to be pretty damn good, and teams aren't giving those guys up.
I would like to address a comment from Lee, which is sort of the whole point that we've talked about from the start, and them not like picking up any role players or any depth, or really being serious about how they were constructing this roster to begin with, and now it's like, oh, betting on rookies and not really getting any depth pieces for even the veteran minimum is biting us in the ass. Who could have thought? Who could have
30
possibly thought?
33% of their 53-man roster was slated to be guys who just slide shy of 33. It was like going to be 15 out of 53, so 50, not including long snapper, punter, kicker. We're going to be first or second year players.
Yep.
And that's fine. You know what? That's fine if you're playing for 26.
And they need to. And you're right. They need to build in that direction. But again, our whole point was that they could have got some guys who were cheap, costing Jeremiah Ledbetter. Lee, for anyone listening, he asked, what is the point of the season? Last ride for McCaffrey, Trent, and Kittle, maybe a wild card road game. That pretty much sums it up. Like,
we're done here.
What's the point?
We'll see you for the draft, baby.
What's the point? I think what they're hoping is that their schedule's easy, and that in the second half of the year, which again, rookies tend to get hurt because the season's really long, is that they start to put it together and sort of build towards the playoffs. Again, they have to be really good in the first half of the year because most of their division games are in the first half of the year.
Yes, and the back end of the schedule is theoretically easy, but that theory might not pan out. I mean, if the Bears are good, then that's one that's not there anymore.
But what is the point, right?
Well,
what is the point of
I don't want to go full nihilistic. I mean, the point here is to be the Rams and hope that everything comes together at the exact perfect time. That's always been their plan. They've overtly stated it. And now they're not even now they're like digging down on the details of it because we've pressed them on it enough. That's their point. They think that they have the high-end talent, which they probably do, if we're being honest.
Yep.
They have the high-end talent that if they can build some sort of a watertight team or borderline watertight, like IP60 rated team, so not fully submergible, but like you can get it splashed. If you can build a decent enough team around those guys, and those guys are healthy, and those guys are playing at their highest level, and that all comes together come December 1st, look out, because we can get hot. We're getting hot at the right time.
And they have an actual special teams coordinator, so they're saying we're going to be functional at worst. For the first time, we're at least going to be functional. Maybe we'll be good, but we're not even searching for that. We're searching for okay. We're searching for Kyle Shanahan's dream of maybe this will be okay, and I won't have to think about it. And then they added Robert Saleh.
Yeah, and
that's their plan.
They are really banking a lot on we have really good coaches that will get these guys ready to play. Well, they just announced for the world that those coaches did not get enough guys ready to play for the start of the season. Now, they were handed a pretty shitty deck of cards, but the guys that they needed to get ready to play, let's use two as an example. Special teams coordinator Brant Boyer needed, here's your guy, Junior Bergen. Well, Leonard Hankerson and Kyle Shanahan and Kubiak, they didn't have him ready to play. He's gotten the opportunities. He's not ready to play. Okay, that's a 7th-round pick. You can chalk that up to, hey, we took a shot, it didn't work out. But they don't have Nick Martin ready to play. They don't have Alfred Collins ready to play. Thank God they have CJ West ready to play. We're not even talking
Alfred Collins thing is looking...
It's looking rough. And by the way, halfway through the season, it might be fine. You mentioned that guys are going to get injured in the second half because they're young guys. I mean, they built an entire team out of the most injurable players possible, like long-term veterans with a ton of hard miles, and Purdy, who played a lot of hard miles last year, but he's young. And then rookies who get either injured at the beginning because they just went through a grueling draft process, so they've never really had an offseason, and they're being thrown into the fire. I mean, think about how jarring that has to be a rookie. And it's like, by the way, you live in Santa Clara, California now. Good luck to you.
Right.
And you're a professional. Go up against Trent Williams in practice. Or you get injured in the second half because the NFL is really hard and they're going to kill you.
One other question from Strawberry Reacts that I actually think is an important question. It's like, what's the point of even trading for anyone if there's no chance? Just ride with cheap practice squad guys. That is what I would do in a Madden simulation. The unfortunate reality is that you have too many pieces that are really good to just say, well, whatever. We're just going to go cheap and whatever happens, happens. Because you just have football's too grueling. Your team has too many serious pieces. You have too many good coaches to just say, well, whatever. You sort of are required to have a little bit of seriousness, even if you waited too long from a roster construction standpoint to be serious about it.
Also, I mean, Strawberry Reacts, and I had this up. I didn't acknowledge it, and apologies. Like, that's a great point. But also, like, the Rams didn't win anything with that method. They gave the Eagles the best shot anyone gave last year, and they won the division. So they won something. Like, that's the Niners' plan. Here's their best case scenario. They feel they have the quarterback. They certainly, have proven that they have the top end skill players that they just signed.
Yep. They kind of tried to do the same thing on the defensive line with that they did
Totally.
with Verse and Fisk. Obviously, I'm not saying. I mean, Verse is a maniac, so that was
their
crazy.
theory, though. That was the
Right,
rubric
right.
that they were operating off of. The problem that the Niners have here too is that this division is wholly competent. I don't know if there's a great team in it. In fact, there probably isn't. But there's no wins. There's no guaranteed wins in the NFC West. Forget the 3 in the first 5. Like, the Niners could. It won't happen because they should be a decent enough football team. They should be the definition of mid as it stands. But, like, they could go 0-6 in the division. That's not outlandish.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
they won't.
No, yeah.
But, like, the Rams could be a better team both times they play. The Cardinals could be a better team both times they play because, hold on, I don't have when do they play the Cardinals second? November 16th. That's right on the line, baby. That's right on the line. Maybe this is the year that Kyler makes it to Thanksgiving instead of Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, there's a world where they just like suck in the division and go like 2-4, and then the rest of their schedule turns out to be easy, and they just like eke into the playoffs at 9-8, even though 9-8 doesn't seem to really do it anymore. You can't really bank on that.
I would say that you want 10 and you hope you get lucky with 9.
Yep.
But like, I think the Seahawks are the real deal Holyfield. Like, I really like Seattle. And maybe I look like an asshole in a couple of weeks. Wouldn't be the first time.
We'll see about their O-line. We'll see about that.
And, I mean, I watched it again. Oh, boy. We'll see them against real competition in week 2. Because I'm not sure the Niners defensive tackles are going to be saying, hey, this is what it's like in the NFL. They're going to be like, is this the NFL, sir? Hello. Rookies versus rookies. By the way, we're talking about running back. We're talking about wide receiver. Like, we're not even getting into the O-line, D-line issues here. Connor Colby's starting for this team in week 1 if all things hold. I mean, you could be skeptical.
Sure it won't be Zakelj?
I know it won't be Zakelj because they've moved Connor Colby to right guard at practice. And Ben Barch is playing in week 1.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Because Kyle Shanahan, quote, unless we need him to throw passes, he can play with that thing. So that's awesome.
Is that what he said about Barch?
That's what he said. So Barch is out there with like a big, it looks like one of those knee braces that they wear on the offensive linemen wear on their knees. He's got that on his elbow.
Oh, sort of like Dre Greenlaw or Quan Alexander coming back from like a torn pec.
Exactly right. It doesn't go up that high. I mean, it just stops here. Like the torn pec one has like straps.
What's funny is I remember like Firster basically saying, yeah, no, Colby is not going to right guard ever. Basically.
And now Colby's like, I feel so comfortable here. Like this is home for me. And he's been fine. Legitimately, he's been fine. But how would we know? Because it's like Kalia Davis. Can you give him a rep? No. Jordan Elliott. Can you give him a rep? Hell no. Like, until CJ West is out there, I don't know. I don't know if he can get a rep. And by the way,
funny.
CJ West is a
this
rookie.
Whole season is predicated on CJ West. I'm not kidding.
They built the team out of CJ West.
I'm not kidding.
So Colby's at right guard. They have Zakelj at left. They won't do it. They won't do it, but they could. They could if they wanted to. If they just want to be honest and they want to look themselves in the mirror and they get enough good tape on Saturday, they can cut Zakelj and keep the Nuge at guard. Because I'm telling you right now, I can't shake him. I can't shake him at guard. I was totally out. I was out. I was out on him, Jake. I'm like, he's not a very good center. I feel like an asshole. I built him up. It's not there.
He's one of those guys you just can't quit. And maybe it's just the name the Nuge.
He's actually like, it's clean tape. He's good at it. He's a brawler. And we had somebody in the chat. I apologize. Let me catch it here. Oh, Willie Lampkin, love. And it's like, dude, if everyone's like, oh well, Willie Lampkin at 4'2" as a Weeble can play guard, then why can't the Nuge? And every time you watch the Nuge play guard, you're like, is he better at this than he was at center? Even though it doesn't make, as Chris Forrester told you, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's like, he should be bad at this, but then you just keep putting him out there and he keeps not getting destroyed. So
and this is a good point by Woodpit 420. Colby was really bad against the Raiders. I seem to remember Colby being at left guard in that game, and they've moved him to right now. And he says,
yeah, I thought Colby was fine, but not impressive. Colby, again, the way Forrester explained it is like he's surprisingly good in pass pro, but the run game's not there, and it's going to take time.
Yeah, and listen, he's a project, and the project was just starting. And they're like, you're starting now. This is very different than Pooney. It's very different than Burford, where both of those guys in the first couple days of camp, they're like, oh, that's our starter.
Right.
Like, he's the best guy we have. And they just moved on. Colby's only playing because guys are injured. Like, if Pooney was healthy, he's playing. They might play him at 80%.
My real gut, feeling is just that this is just going to be the sloppiest start to the season. It's going to be a mess for about a month, maybe a month and a half. And then they'll have played 5 division games and we'll see.
I mean, Seattle, I thought that getting Seattle week 1 was going to be such a blessing. And maybe it has been, just fate has not helped them.
Seattle doesn't know any better, It's going to be tough.
Well, Seattle's also just going to start busting out all the stuff they couldn't do until late last year. Like, they're going to run the ball with a Kubiak offense. Darnold's going to be pushing it down the field to Jackson Smith-Njigba for 25 targets. Like, they're going to have what I believe to be a healthy running back room, and they have like 4 good running backs.
Well then, hey, maybe that's when Saleh goes, you know what? Like, they think they know what to expect from this defense. Actually, we're just going to use 5 down linemen, and Nick Martin's going to be the 5th, and he's just going to blitz and scare Sam Darnold, and then we're not going to play Nick Martin for half the season because he doesn't know how to play linebacker yet. Maybe that's what you do.
You're half right, Jake. It's not Nick Martin, though. Hold on, I'm going to pull up my notes here. They went to a 5-man front yesterday.
He's been doing that a decent amount.
47, 55, 95, 58, 92 was the 5-man front that they were using yesterday. So that's, and there's no Bosa. So that's Huff, Valdez, Collins, Meatball, and Jordan Elliott on the end. Interesting. And by the way, inarguably, the best period they had as a defense. Inarguably.
Awesome.
This is why you pay coaches. They have to figure out a way to make it work. And maybe I'm not giving Robert Saleh the benefit of the doubt here, because he does seem a little bit tied to his ways. I know that he's mixed it up compared to cover 3, but like, he's a man of principle.
Yeah, but he hasn't run a lot of cover 3 in years. He's been running a lot of quarters,
but he's not a mix it up dude. He's not innovating in the space, right? He's not Mike McDonald.
Or it's like multiplicity from the same look, right? It's showing you the same thing, but they're not doing a lot of crazy post snap rotation. I mean,
it's a good question here from Filthy Casual. No Mike Heller, CJ for week 1. At this point, we just have to operate on the premise of no and be happily surprised if it's a yes. I have no new information.
What do we got? 2 weeks? 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Really, in honesty, you have until next Wednesday.
I will be watching the game from New York City.
Jesus Christ! Why are you where else are you going?
They stream from Times Square.
No, don't do that. That
by the way, don't ever go to Times Square. If you've never been to New York, don't go there.
Don't go to Times Square.
It's disgusting.
It's I mean, if you want to get humped by a giant Elmo, you can go to town.
Usually covered in urine.
Well, and other stuff. I only read this in the Laszlo from What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
New York City. That's the
Well
only way
done.
I can see it. Yeah, jet setting Jake, just all around, leaving us to die alone in our basement.
Wedding season, folks.
There you go. He's of the age. I'm in divorce season, and I might be next, given certain sleep patterns. Okay. That's the offensive line. Defensive line, I mean, the Collins situation is not improving at the rate that you would need it to improve to feel comfortable about it.
I saw one snap from him where I was like, I don't know that he can play yet. Where he got pushed about, I'm not shitting you, 10 yards back. And I went, what are we doing here? And is it because I wonder, one, like the lack of playing time, but two, like he's being taught a different thing where he's used to just saying, all right, I'm going to hold it. And then he's trying to shoot and it's a different technique. And so he's giving up more of his torso. And then he's like, wait, what am I doing? And so he's in two different places mentally.
Yeah.
Like, again, you drafted a guy who is great at one thing and you're totally trying to change what his game is. It's a big season for Chris Kasurek, who has just kind of been like assumed as the best defensive line coach in the league for a long time. And also, we got a lot of questions. Like, show it. And it's going to have to show with the rookies, especially.
Unquestionably. And I think if you wanted to be an optimist about it, you look at it and say, it's training camp. You need to try things. If you fail miserably, it's closed practices. The only people who know are the assholes with microphones, and they'll forget about it eventually if you put on good tape in preseason and certainly in the regular season. So try stuff, work on it. You're not going to get any better unless you fail a million times in a row, and practice makes perfect. My other concern is just kind of what I was saying there about Saleh. It certainly applies to Kasurek. He's a man of principle. He's a man who believes what he believes, and there's no other way. And he has been handed a guy who, to steal the Mitch Hedberg joke, the great thing about escalators is that they can temporarily be stairs. Well, this guy's not an escalator. He's not a working escalator. He can't do what Chris Kasurek wants him to do right now. He might never be able to do it because he can't seem to disengage from a block to save his life. But you know what? That means he can hold a flipping gap.
Let him do the thing that he's good at. Let him build his confidence, feel confident in his body at the NFL level. Mm-hmm. Let him function and do the thing he knows, and then say, all right, we're going to use that frame. We're going to use that foundation. And maybe it's not the technique we usually teach because it's not working for you. Right. But we work off of what is working, and we teach you how to attack that way.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with Woodpit here in saying that his reactions look really slow. He's thinking. He's being asked to think a lot, and it's hard to think and play fast at the same time.
And you can tell there's pressure on him at that draft slot. The way Kasurek handles coaching him, which he does it for all the guys, but you can tell he's putting more on Collins because he stumped for him, and he's saying, this is what I need from you. And Collins is like, okay, I'm trying. It's just not there. And again, the big dude, it probably will take time, right? He's kind of a project player, but like the way they set up this season, you need him now. And you need whatever he can do now that's functional. And maybe you just have to simplify it for him.
It'd be great if I would make the argument that only 3 players have exceeded expectations so far in camp.
Yeah.
Siegel, unquestionably. I think that maybe you and I wouldn't qualify under this blanket, but Pearsall has been so good that he has to be considered someone who's exceeding general expectations. And I think Tatum Bethune qualifies.
I would say Chase Lucas too.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that one. Let's call it 4. It'd be great if Jordan Elliott decided that he wanted to be the 5th. It'd be great if they figured out any of these defense. Like Huff is a good player. He is. It is funny now, everyone admitting that he's short. So you're welcome.
Are people saying that?
Oh, yeah. Trent was at the podium the other day, and he's like, you wouldn't think that he would play so big considering how small he is. But, and I'm like, oh, really? You think he's short, Trent? You want to tell all the fine folks who gave me a bunch of... I'm sorry. That's personal.
That was the funniest little beef you had.
Just saying, I was right.
I know.
And, but he is a player who will help you win. He will affect winning. But I don't know if Mikael Williams can. I'd like to think he can. But
if he can stay healthy,
he should. I don't know if Sam Ekwonu can truly help winning. I'd like to think he can.
He's a good rotational piece, but if he's your top 2 or 3, it's a problem. maybe 3. He's fine.
I don't know if Yetur Gross-Matos is even a real person. Like, who's to say what he is or what he isn't? Robert Beal has not exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
Like, this defensive line has a lot of bodies. I don't know how many useful bodies they have outside of Huff, outside of Bosa. Yeah. I think that's it, because as much as we say CJ West, I mean, have we seen enough to feel super confident in week 1 he's going up there and kicking ass?
No, that's just where the standard is, where it's like he's exceeding whatever it is, and he's like an NFL player, and you're like, well, this is the guy. Yeah, it's tough. Before we get out of here, let's get Joseph's comment. Appreciate you. Should we really be worried about the Stout injury?
I'll say it's not great for him. I'll say no. I think that the Niners can get by without Upton Stout. One, because we don't know
Chase
what Upton
Lucas for now.
Jacob Robinson has looked good too.
Yeah, I'm curious what they do, because like their best 3 corners, not named Green, and
they have 3
Diamador Lenore.
Green. That's awesome.
Are all nickels, right?
Yes. Well, Diamador Lenore's a nickel too.
So they have 4 nickels and 4 nickels. one outside corner who they tried.
20 cents, baby.
Who they tried at nickel, even though he was clearly an outside corner. So it's like, and I again, we pointed out we really liked Robinson. I think he was our favorite guy out of the undrafted class. Like, he was coming downhill. Yep. He was blowing stuff up. Maybe that's just what they do. They just go all nickels, and they say Darrell Luter doesn't seem to know how to be consistent. He's large, but yeah.
I think that Lucas has done enough to where it's very difficult. You could probably still get cute with him and play it. We do an oops all nickels.
4 nickels equals a corner. Very good one.
There it is.
420. Thank you.
You need 5, but that's okay. It is much like the defensive line is now kind of predicated on either West or Collins standing out, right? Like, it's all held together there. And the wide receiver room is all Pearsall now. And, kind of every position is very top heavy and not necessarily the guy you thought would be on top when you started.
Right.
This defensive backfield is so reliant on Renardo Green to be a Pro Bowl caliber that
they don't have a third corner.
No, they don't. They've been trying Saran Neal there as a second corner.
That's a really sad series of words.
I know. And I'm not going to lie to you. It's been fine. But Luter ain't it. I liked Dallas Flowers. I feel like Dallas Flowers.
I did too. He's made some tackles. I kind of would lean him as CB3 for now.
I feel like he's kind of getting the raw end of the deal if the depth charts at practice are anything to be read into, and maybe they're not.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's fine. I mean, he was a starter for the Colts before injury. Like, he's not bad. But let me expand on my Renardo Green Pro Bowl caliber CB take. Lenore's a very good football player, but Lenore is not going to be a classic one corner, in that Lenore can't help himself but be a scrappy little shit, right? Like, that's why he was really good at nickel. And let's be clear about this.
And I asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to miss playing nickel.
Right. Even though he was saying I can play outside when he was a nickel. I think he's just a brawler. He just wants to fight. And that's great. It's a really good quality for a professional football player. But you need to put him in the gambler, jumping routes,
right,
aggressive side of the field. You need to put him in that side, and then that requires Renardo Green, which, by the way, his skill set is perfectly suited for, being the, I forgot you played the football game role on the other side. Like, what was the cornerback duo for the Cowboys a couple of years ago when Bland had like 17 picks?
Yeah, wasn't it him and Diggs, or they had
it was him and Diggs. And one of them had all the picks because one of them was actually playing cornerback and the other one was just gambling.
They seem to always have a corner who just has a million picks. It's just one guy who's just like lurking and one guy who's like actually playing the position.
But you have to throw it that way, and he's going to go boom or bust because the other side, there's nothing. the guy who's on your X receiver, that X receiver ain't getting open. So that's that's Green on the other side. And maybe it won't get a lot of run. Maybe, only the PFF grade will notice. But like, that's, if you have that, and then you put Lenore as your 2, and you say, hey, go hunting. Let's have some fun. The same way like a DJ Reed and a Sauce Gardner played off each other with the Jets for Saleh. If you have that, and then you have 3 guys who can reasonably play for you in the slot, one of which will hit, and it's probably Stout if he can stay out there, but like you can practice squad. I still think you can practice squad Lucas and call him up. I think you can store him at the Marriott.
Because he's a vet too.
Yeah, and then you keep Robinson around because you can also try him on the outside. At least you can delude yourself into thinking that he can play both for now.
If you're just going to go all small corners, why not fully go for it?
But now you are totally dependent on Marquise Siegel and Renardo Green, which honestly, of all the concerns I have about this team, should be much higher on the list, but it just doesn't keep me up at night.
Yeah. I mean, there's a world where it's like the best young secondary in the league. I genuinely mean that.
Yes.
There's also a world where no one stays healthy and they get destroyed. So we'll see. There's no real depth.
Niners red zone here, saying Niners are going to blitz a lot because of the Saleh factor. The Saleh factor is certainly not to blitz a lot, but Robert Saleh is also a pragmatic head coach who, let's not forget, was going to get run out of town after 2 years, his first go around, until he switched up what it was he was doing and figured out that pragmatism is the way of the future. And I think they are going to blitz a lot because I don't think that they feel comfortable getting home with 4 with Bosa and Huff on that line.
Not with the consistency that they had in 2019 or 21.
You mean the best defensive line that we've seen in 10
That's
years?
Right. I know. I love when people compare it to that.
Yeah. It is. We are in nut crunch time. Okay. Like what happens in these next 2 weeks truly sets this thing in motion in the right or the wrong direction. And there are many ways that this can work out just fine. It really can. I mean, to steal the Mike Tomlin line, a young player who misses training camp is like trying to catch up to a running train. There's going to be issues on that front. Nothing you can do about that now because of injury. It is what it is. That's baked in. But you can get enough guys back from injury in the next couple of days that you can put together good, solid practices behind closed doors and get ready for this Seahawks team, which is impressive in the preseason, but not some Super Bowl contender. And then you get another week to ease into it because the Saints aren't good. And then you get the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are always a wild card. And then you get the Jaguars, and they're the ultimate wild card. I don't know if they're going to be really good or really bad, but they're going to be one of them. And then you get the Rams, and who knows if Matt Stafford will have left the Airstream by then. Have you seen this Airstream that he's been living in?
No, it just reminds me of Jim Harbaugh doing that.
Yeah, no. So he's in something called like a life chamber. It's basically a giant hydrobaric chamber.
Cryotube?
Kind of like that. And he's just been living in this Airstream with like oxygenated air to heal his back. And Jimmy Garoppolo's their backup. So, I'm excited for October 2nd.
That can't go well.
So a lot of interesting things can happen for a good in the positive. But as of right now, the Niners are telling you flat out, hey, we're a little worried here.
And we'll see you there, folks. We'll see you at the start of the season.
Well, I mean, we'll see you before then, theoretically. I don't know. Jake might go to Bali.
Nah.
No?
I am going to India later, but...
Jesus Christ. Walked right into that one.
All right, folks.
And as 49ers Red Zone says, I breathe in weed smoke. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow after the game.
Bye.